The Five Rings 2026. The Five Rings 2026, a path of discipline, alignment, and devotion. There comes a moment in every life when a person realizes that drifting through the world is no longer enough. The distractions grow louder, the days begin to blur together, and the mind senses that something deeper is required. This moment is not a failure, it is a turning point. It is the beginning of awareness. In 2026, the modern battlefield is not defined by swords, armor, or distant warfields. The battlefield is internal. It is the mind struggling with discipline. It is the body searching for strength. It is the spirit longing for alignment with something greater than itself. The teachings of Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary Japanese swordsman and strategist, offer a framework that transcends time. His philosophy of the five rings, earth, water, fire, wind, and void, was originally written to guide warriors in battle. Yet, these principles extend far beyond combat. They offer a path toward mastery of the self. In the modern world, these rings represent five dimensions of growth. They represent structure, adaptability, action, wisdom, and spiritual alignment. When these elements are understood and practiced together, they create balanced life built on discipline and devotion. This is the five rings for 2026. It is not a system of perfection. It is a system of alignment, and alignment begins with foundation. Earth ring, foundation, and discipline. The first ring is earth. Earth represents the ground beneath your feet. It is stability. It is structure. It is the physical and practical foundation that supports everything else. Without earth, nothing stands. Many people in the modern world attempt to improve their mindset without improving their environment. They seek motivation without structure. They want success without discipline. But a warrior understands that the foundation determines the outcome. In 2026, the earth ring begins with daily habits. It begins with waking up intentionally instead of drifting through the morning. It begins with making the bed, not because it is required, but because it symbolizes order. A simple action such as preparing your space can influence the mind more than people realize. When your environment is chaotic, your mind becomes chaotic. When your environment is ordered, your mind begins to mirror that order. Earth is also physical discipline. Training the body is not merely about appearance, it is about strength, endurance, and resilience. When you train your body, you teach your mind how to endure discomfort. Each push-up, each run, each repetition builds a deeper understanding of persistence. In this way, the body becomes a tool for shaping character. But earth extends beyond physical routines. It also includes responsibility, tracking finances, organizing work, planning your day, and honoring commitments are all expressions of earth. These actions may appear simple, yet they create the stability necessary for growth. There is another dimension to the earth ring that is often overlooked: gratitude. Before any action begins, a moment of gratitude aligns the mind with God. Gratitude reminds us that life itself is a gift. When gratitude becomes the starting point of the day, pride is replaced with humility and purpose becomes clearer. In 2026, Earth is about building a life that can support your goals and your faith. A disciplined morning, a strong body, an organized environment, a grateful spirit. These are the foundations of watering, adaptability, and humility. The second ring is water. Water flows, it adapts, it moves around obstacles without losing its nature. Life in the modern world is unpredictable. Plans change, circumstances shift, unexpected challenges appear without warning. Without adaptability, discipline becomes rigid and fragile. Water teaches flexibility. When the body is tired, training can adapt without abandoning commitment. When plans fail, the strategy changes, but the purpose remains. Water also represents humility. Humility is the recognition that growth requires learning. A warrior who believes he knows everything cannot improve. Humility opens the door to wisdom. In daily life, water appears in quiet moments of reflection, walking in nature, listening carefully during conversation, observing the world without rushing to judgment. These moments cultivate awareness. Water also relates to emotional balance. Anger, frustration, and impatience are natural human reactions. However, reacting impulsively weakens discipline. A calm mind responds rather than reacts. One powerful practice within the watering is controlled breathing. Slowing the breath slows the mind. When the breath becomes steady, emotional storms lose their intensity. Water reminds us that strength does not require constant force. Sometimes strength is the ability to pause. Sometimes strength is the ability to listen. Sometimes strength is the ability to change direction. Void ring, spiritual alignment. The fifth and final ring is void. Void is often misunderstood as emptiness. In reality, void represents clarity beyond noise. Modern life is filled with constant stimulation. Information flows endlessly. Opinions collide. The mind rarely experiences silence. Without silence, the soul becomes restless. Void is the practice of stillness. Meditation, prayer, and quiet reflection create space within the mind. In that space, clarity emerges. Prayer connects discipline with devotion. It reminds us that growth is not solely an individual effort. Strength, wisdom, and guidance often arise through faith. When a person kneels in prayer, pride softens. The mind becomes receptive. Void also encourages detachment from comparison. In the digital age, people constantly measure themselves against others. This comparison erodes confidence and creates unnecessary pressure. Void teaches internal focus. Progress is measured against yesterday, not against strangers. Silence strengthens identity. In stillness, we rediscover purpose. The integration of the five rings. The five rings are not separate systems. They work together. Earth creates structure, water provides adaptability, fire drives action, wind builds wisdom, void aligns the spirit. When these elements work together, life becomes balanced. A disciplined day might begin with gratitude and prayer. The body is trained, the mind focuses on meaningful work, wisdom is gained through study, and the evening ends in reflection. This rhythm transforms ordinary days into purposeful ones. The path of continuous refinement. Growth is not dramatic, it is cumulative. Small habits practiced daily produce extraordinary results over time. 30 minutes of reading each day becomes hundreds of hours of knowledge in a year. A single hour of focused work daily compounds into mastery of skills. Consistency builds identity, identity builds confidence, confidence fuels continued discipline. The five rings encourage refinement rather than perfection. No day will be flawless. Mistakes will occur. Fatigue will appear. Doubt will arise. But the rings provide guidance during these moments. Return to earth and rebuild structure. Use water to adapt calmly. Activate fire through small actions. Apply wind to analyze mistakes. Enter void for reflection and prayer. Each cycle strengthens resilience. Final reflection. In 2026, the path of the warrior is not defined by conflict with others, it is defined by mastery of the self. The five rings offer a timeless guide for this journey. Earth reminds us to build strong foundations. Water teaches humility and adaptability. Fire demands action and effort. Wind encourages wisdom and learning. Void aligns us with God and inner clarity. When these elements come together, discipline becomes natural, life becomes intentional, and the pursuit of growth becomes a form of devotion. If this message helped you understand how to apply the five rings in modern life, support the journey by liking the video and subscribing for more lessons on discipline, philosophy,